So the final update of 2022 is almost upon us, update 11.11, and it's of course New Year's and Christmas themed. We have Santa containers coming back, and the important thing to know here about this year's Santa crates is they've at least, to my knowledge, removed some ships from these crates. We have all these tier 10 or rare ships, right? So this is our final tier, right? We have tier 5 to tier 7, tier 8 to tier 9. Pretty normal, I guess. But there's some ships that aren't here anymore. I don't see a Missouri. I don't see a Nikolai. I'm really not seeing the Kutuzov, I don't think. Did I see that here in the tier 8 ships? No, I did not. So there's a lot of ships here that are actually taken out of these Santa crates, unless I'm reading this wrong. But it seems like those classic ships that were released years and years ago, probably in a too strong state, and then they took them away from sale, but still left them in the Santa crates and in super containers. Seems like they're gone now. And in a very similar way to the 7th anniversary update we had just in fall, if you have more than 100 ships in port, you can see here that you can earn a lot of rewards and you don't have to play every single one of your ships. You can see the different tiers right here. It's a nice way to allow people with a large number of ships in port to actually work through the rewards without playing hundreds of thousands of hours and probably not even getting through all of that. I should definitely mention that tier 5 to tier 7, you get 750 coal. Tier 8 and 9 ships, you get 75 steel. Tier 10 ships is where you get the New Year's certificate, which can be then exchanged for the Santa crates. And super ships, you're gaining 500 research points per super ship. I really do like this change that they implemented just in the 7th anniversary update. I really think it's a player-friendly decision here to allow people with tons of ships to actually earn more rewards per battle played. It's a really nice thing to see carried over into the Christmas event, and hopefully we can see it in more events moving forward. We're also getting a Christmas-themed 2 polls kind of event, where you just play the game and you get some rewards. You pick a team. Based on these 2 pictures here, I'll probably pick the one that looks a little more like the kids' version of Santa Claus that I remember. And at the end of this, you'll be able to get one of these camos, Conqueror or Holland. As we can see, the Dido and Canarias, definitely mispronouncing that, I apologize, are coming back. You can actually earn these again if you missed out, or you only got one, not the other last time. This is a good opportunity to get one of these 2 ships again. Of course, the biggest part of this update is the new Dockyard. Yesterday, we looked at the Admiral Schroder, and it's a pretty decent Tier 9 cruiser. A lot of fun, quite tanky with all those secondaries. Although up-tiering into super ship games is a little bit challenging. As for the rules on the Dockyard, it is 30 phases, and each phase to purchase individually is 1,750 doubloons, so quite steep, but keep in mind you're going to earn 26 out of 30 of these shipbuilding phases for free, assuming you're playing the game quite a lot over Christmas, and in the early access side of things, if you buy the packs early, there'll be a pack that gives you 4 phases for 5,000 doubloons. I believe you have to buy those before reaching the first 4 phases, and that'll be the cheapest way to get the Schroder. But keep in mind, the whole idea here of buying the discounted pack early on is to get you sunk into this Dockyard, committed, right? So keep that in mind. If you don't have time, maybe hold off on that for now. Because the other thing to consider is that this is a 6-week Dockyard, not one of the 8-week ones. I believe we've seen those in the past. So it is a bit of a shorter time period. And that does include the first couple weeks of January. So if you're around during Christmas, but then you have a busy January, for example, you might not be able to finish this. Keep that in mind. Fortunately, though, on the 19th phase, you're going to receive the Renown 44, a Tier 7 British battleship or battle cruiser, and you can get that one for free just by getting to the 19th phase. I'll definitely be taking a look at that ship in a future video. I'm not a huge fan of these mid-tier British battle cruisers, but I'll give it a go, see what I think of it. A quick mention on Japanese light cruisers. They're in their 2nd month of early access, so in January, we'll finally be able to all research them for free. And here we get to the next Battle Pass. I was curious how this was going to work with the Dockyard basically being a Battle Pass for this game. We're still having the Dockyard and the Battle Pass at the same time. And alongside Premium Time, there's a lot of monthly charges that this game is getting to. It's kind of interesting how much you actually have to spend to have the full premium access to this game. At the end of this Dockyard is not a ship, but it is 25 New Year's certificates, which may get you a ship out of those Santa containers. There's again another extra full premium access to the Battle Pass on top of getting into the Battle Pass, and that's going to give you the more missions to actually complete the Battle Pass. This time you're getting coal, steel, and research points buffed. If you're exchanging doubloons for credits, that's a better ratio, but I really don't recommend anyone do that. That's one of the worst trades you can make for doubloons in this game. Free XP is also one of those pretty poor trades. We're getting a 150% bonus to all XP types in your first victory if you're going for this extra premium Battle Pass reward. Demounting upgrades is also free, but keep in mind that's a very high extra cost on top of the Battle Pass. Also coming with this update, there's a bounty event where you can go in-game and hunt down specific volunteers or contributors in battle. I actually haven't signed up to this, but that sounds like a lot of fun. So I should really sign up, and then at the appropriate time, whenever it gets announced in-game, I'm sure you'll see a post on the website as well. You guys could come try and hunt me down in battle. That could be a fun thing during update 11.11. We're also getting some more brawls. This seems to be a very consistent game mode now. With each update, there's always brawls going on, which is cool. A nice variety outside of just having random battles. But a big thing here is actually that the Trump is available with this update in the Armory for coal. I was not expecting to see this ship so quickly available for coal. I'm used to the early access side of things, forcing us all to wait a couple months or even half a year sometimes to actually see some of these early access ships. I'm very happy to see it, though. It's a very interesting, gimmicky airstrike focused DD. You could definitely check out my video on it. It was a lot of fun to make, but as people understand what these airstrikes are capable of, I think they're going to be a lot harder to hit as time goes on. I've certainly noticed that people are much more aware anytime I've played this ship more recently after my video's gone up, and several other people's. People know about these airstrikes now, so they're not just going to sit there and take 20,000 damage to their DD. And continuing on with what we've already discussed when it comes to Santa containers, well, super containers, Steam super containers, the Nikolai is gone. I possibly have missed some of the other patch notes that have mentioned some of the other extremely rare taken out of the game very early on ships. At least pulled from sale. You can still play them if you already own it. They're removed from super containers and Santa crates now. So you're not really going to be able to get many of these ships anymore at all. It looks like the Kamikaze R is actually the last one left out of these special, overpowered, certainly, at least back in the day, ships that were removed from sale. On one side of things, I'm disappointed that there's completely no way to receive some of these ships anymore. But the other part of me is kind of glad that they're removing this extreme RNG loot box gambling side of super containers that people would go to extreme lengths, thousands of dollars spent just to get some of these removed special ships. So I'm kind of torn on it. On one hand, I'm pretty happy that it's removed, and on the other hand, a little sad. Something to be aware of as we get into the New Year season, the Lunar New Year containers, which I believe are January is around the time when these come out and you can get these. They're changing the contents. I'm actually not sure what the old drop rates and contents were, but keep in mind that there are some updates here. You can see the actual chance that you have of getting some of these special ships out of these containers. It can take a lot. It can take a lot of money to actually get some of these ships that you might be looking for out of these containers. I also should just mention that I don't see many of the high tier ships here available. The Baji or the Wu Jing. Some of the older ones as well. The aircraft carrier, I'm not seeing that one here either. So seems like those have been actually just removed from these Lunar New Year crates. Getting towards the bottom of these patch notes, a big change here is this: map changes. At the beginning of each battle, the distribution of ships on the flanks and in the center of the map will be more even between teams. Submarines will spawn closer to the opposite side of the map and more often on the flank. So this is a big deal because it allows you to predict where the enemy ships are going to be spawned more often. If you don't have very many ships on your flank, well, you can probably be pretty sure that the enemy team doesn't as well. If there's only one DD in the game and it's spawned middle, probably spawned middle on the enemy team. Also to note that submarines spawning closer to flanks means that if you're playing the middle of the map, you're less likely to run into a sub. The flanks are probably going to have more subs on them now. So just little things to be aware of at the beginning of each game, something that I'm constantly thinking about when I do load into a battle, trying to understand where the enemy team is likely to spawn. And this is going to make that a lot more consistent. At least that's what it seems like to me. Always good to see Wargaming trying to help new players. This game has become less and less new player friendly as time has gone on, in my opinion. There's just not a lot of tools to help beginners. The game is much more complicated. There's so many more resources and complicated interactions in this game. And there's not a lot to really help new players. So I'm glad that they're testing out some training missions for newer players. It doesn't really help the double tier 4 aircraft carrier games that they're just going to get thrown into. Not sure that's the best for new player retention, but hey, that at least is going to help, that there's some training missions now for people with less than 300 battles. With this update, we're seeing the Clausewitz and the Dalarna come finally to the tech tree, meaning you could just buy them if you have enough XP on the relevant tier 10s. They're around 47,000 or 47 million, 45 million credits. Pretty expensive to buy, but hey, much cheaper than what they went for in that auction. There's a lot of other changes and improvements here being made. Something I did want to actually point out specifically is that Holland can finally shoot its bow guns forward at less than 7 kilometers. Previously, it would get stuck and those forward anti-submarine warfare launchers would actually just get in the way. Now it can finally shoot its gun fully forward, which is quite nice and something I found very annoying while playing Holland. So that's going to be update 11.11 overview. In my opinion, an interesting update for the Christmas rewards, although it's a lot of busy work here trying to keep you engaged and playing all holiday season long. And with those upfront costs of the Dockyard and the Battle Pass, trying to get you hooked in early. So keep that in mind if you're planning on spending a lot of time with family or holidays where you're going to be away from your computer. Maybe just skip out on pre-buying some of this Dockyard or Battle Pass. So thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. You're going to go for the Admiral Schroder, the secondary German Tier 9 cruiser. I think I will. Definitely interested in getting that ship and playing it some more. But again, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.